The silence of deep space shattered like brittle glass. The Helios 7 mining platform, a marvel of human engineering floating near the asteroid belt, erupted in a cascade of brilliant explosions. Commander Elena Rodriguez watched in horror through the viewscreen of her reconnaissance ship, the quantum comlink transmitting the last desperate moments of over 3,000 lives. Multiple contact points. Lieutenant Marcus Chen's voice cracked, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface. They're not just attacking. They're systematically eliminating our outer colonies. Elena's jaw tightened. Her younger brother, Daniel, had been stationed on Helios 7 just 2 weeks ago, a junior communications specialist eager to prove himself. Now he was nothing more than superheated debris scattered across the void. The first wave of Valerian ships moved with an almost surgical precision. Unlike the chaotic human spacecraft, these alien vessels seemed to breathe and move as a single organism. Sleek obsidian hulls reflected starlight, their weapon systems pulsing with an unnatural blue-green energy that cut through human defenses like they were tissue paper. "They're using quantum disruption cannons," Marcus muttered, his dark eyes wide with a mixture of terror and professional fascination. "Our shields are useless, completely useless." Elena's training kicked in. 20 years in the United Earth Defense Force hadn't prepared her for this. No simulation could capture the raw, visceral horror of watching humanity being systematically dismantled. The Valerian attack was more than an invasion. It was an extermination. Her comlink crackled with desperate transmissions. Colony after colony reported complete communication blackouts. Civilian ships scattered like frightened insects, their emergency protocols woefully inadequate against the alien onslaught. "Prepare emergency evacuation protocols," Elena commanded, her voice steady despite the storm of emotions raging inside her. "We're going to save who we can." The next 6 hours became a blur of controlled chaos. Elena's ship, the RSS Defiance, darted between burning colony platforms and disintegrating civilian transports. Each rescue was a small victory against the overwhelming tide of destruction. A transport full of children here. A research station with critical scientific personnel there. Daniel's final transmission played in her mind. Just days ago, he had been excited about a new communication encryption method he was developing. Now that potential would never be realized. As the last evacuees were secured, Marcus pulled up the initial casualty reports. "Commander," he said quietly, "we've lost contact with 73% of our outer colony stations. Estimated civilian casualties are in the millions." Elena stared at the holographic display. The Valerian fleet moved with calculated precision, leaving nothing but destruction in their wake. This was more than an attack. This was a message. Humanity was not welcome in the universe. A sudden burst of static interrupted her thoughts. Marcus froze, his hand hovering over the communication panel. "Commander," he whispered, "I'm picking up a strange transmission. It's encrypted, but it's not Valerian." Elena leaned forward, a spark of something, hope, perhaps, flickering in her chest. "Play it." The message was fragmented, barely coherent, but it was there. A hint that they were not alone, that resistance was possible. The real fight for humanity's freedom was about to begin. The Valerian ultimatum arrived precisely at 900 hours GMT, broadcast simultaneously across every communication channel on Earth and its colonies. Chancellor Miranda Reyes stood motionless in the United Earth Council chambers, her olive skin pale beneath the harsh holographic projection. "People of Earth," the Valerian spokesperson intoned, its voice a blend of mechanical precision and haunting resonance, "your civilization has reached its terminal point. Surrender is your only logical recourse." The alien's form was both mesmerizing and terrifying. A crystalline humanoid shape that seemed to shimmer between solid matter and pure energy. Its eyes, if they could be called such, were pools of swirling quantum mathematics that seemed to calculate probability with each passing microsecond. In a secure bunker beneath the council building, Elena Rodriguez watched the broadcast with Lieutenant Marcus Chen and a handful of senior military strategists. The room crackled with tension. "They're giving us 24 hours to surrender," Marcus muttered, his fingers dancing across an encrypted datapad. "Complete planetary submission or total annihilation." Alina's mind raced. The Valerian ultimatum wasn't just a military demand. It was a psychological warfare technique designed to crush human spirit. She recognized the strategy from countless military simulations, but this was real. This was happening. Across the planet, humanity fractured. Some world leaders advocated immediate surrender, arguing that resistance meant extinction. Others, like Chancellor Reyes, prepared for defiance. But beneath the political posturing, fear ran like an electric current. "We have intelligence," Alina interrupted the heated debate. "That suggests the Valerian fleet isn't invincible. The encrypted transmission we intercepted, it contains fragments of their communication protocols." A holographic display materialized, showing complex quantum encryption patterns. Most of the room saw gibberish, but Alina saw possibility. Unbeknownst to the Council, a more dangerous game was already in motion. In the shadows of major cities, the first resistance cells were forming. Underground networks of hackers, ex-military personnel, and desperate civilians began to organize. In New Beijing, a young engineer named Dr. Liang Wei was already dismantling a piece of captured Valerian technology. In the tunnels beneath Buenos Aires, former Special Forces operators began stockpiling weapons and planning guerrilla tactics. The collaboration was unexpected. Criminals worked alongside scientists. Rival nations set aside generations of conflict. Humanity was learning that survival demanded unity. Back in the council chamber, the debate reached a fever pitch. Chancellor Reyes slammed her hand on the table. "We will not surrender," she declared, her voice cutting through the chaos. "We are humanity, and we will fight." As if in response, the first Valerian scout ships appeared in Earth's orbital space. Their arrival was a silent threat, a promise of the destruction to come. Elena Rodriguez looked at Marcus. A silent understanding passed between them. The real war was just beginning. The countdown to humanity's potential extinction had started. 24 hours to decide the fate of an entire species. And somewhere, in the vast darkness of space, something was watching, waiting. The abandoned particle physics research facility in the Chilean Atacama Desert looked like nothing more than a forgotten relic. But beneath its weathered exterior, humanity's most daring resistance was taking shape. Dr. Liang Wei hunched over a makeshift workstation, her fingers moving with surgical precision across a dismantled Valerian communication node. Surrounding her, a team of the world's most brilliant minds worked in a carefully orchestrated chaos. Engineers, physicists, cryptographers, and former military technicians united by a single purpose. "We're close," Liang muttered, her voice hoarse from days without sleep. A holographic display flickered with cascading quantum encryption patterns. Each breakthrough came with microscopic increments of progress. Elsewhere, Elena Rodriguez had transformed the RSS Defiance into a mobile command center for the nascent human resistance. The ship moved between hidden asteroid bases and abandoned mining colonies, collecting survivors and intelligence. "The Valerians expect us to fight conventionally," Elena explained to Marcus during a strategy session. "But we're going to fight them with everything they don't expect." Their first major breakthrough came from an unlikely source. A group of Brazilian favela hackers had discovered a vulnerability in the Valerian communication network. By creating a sophisticated quantum-entangled virus, they could momentarily disrupt the aliens' perfect coordination. The first test was nothing short of miraculous. During a Valerian patrol of the Jupiter orbital stations, their ship suddenly went dark. For precisely 73 seconds, the most advanced fleet in the known universe became a collection of blind, deaf, and mute vessels. In those moments, a small human strike team, led by a former Special Forces operative named Jack Reyes, managed to capture critical alien technology. The resistance was learning, adapting. Underground networks spread like wildfire. Social media platforms, thought to be relics of a bygone era, became crucial communication tools. Encrypted messages passed through seemingly innocent memes and game servers. The Valerians, with their logical and linear thought processes, couldn't comprehend the chaotic human communication methods. Dr. Liang's team made another critical discovery. The Valerian technology, for all its apparent perfection, had a fundamental flaw. Their quantum communication relied on a specific frequency band that could be disrupted by introducing carefully calibrated interference. It's like their entire network is a single, massive organism, Liang explained to Elena during a secured transmission. And we found its weakness. The captured Valerian communication node began to reveal its secrets, fragments of their strategic protocols, glimpses of their societal structure. Each piece of information was a weapon. In the tunnels beneath Buenos Aires, former Special Forces operators began modifying captured alien weaponry. In the research stations of the lunar colonies, scientists worked to understand and replicate Valerian shield technologies. Humanity was no longer just resisting. They were preparing to fight back. As the first modified human-alien hybrid weapons came off the production lines, a new hope began to spread. The message was clear. Earth would not go quietly into the night. The real war was just beginning. The quantum disruption device looked innocuous, a compact cylinder no larger than a standard military canteen. But Dr. Liang Wei knew it represented humanity's most audacious technological gamble. 47 attempts, she muttered to Elena Rodriguez during their encrypted communication. 47 failures. This is number 48. The RSS Defiance hung in the dark space between Mars and Jupiter, its stealth systems pushed to their absolute limits. Jack Reyes, the Special Forces operative who had become the Resistance's primary infiltration specialist, prepared for what might be the most critical mission in human history. Transmission windows are microscopic. Marcus Chen calculated, his fingers dancing across multiple holographic interfaces. We have exactly 17 minutes and 32 seconds to penetrate their primary communication hub. The target was the Valerian Nexus Prime, a massive orbital structure that served as the central nervous system of their entire invasion fleet. Conventional weapons were useless. Their only hope was Dr. Liang's quantum disruption device. Jack's infiltration pod detached from the Defiance with surgical precision. The small craft looked like nothing more than a piece of space debris, its exterior coated with a sophisticated camouflage system that bent light and electromagnetic signals around its hull. Inside the pod, Jack's augmented nervous system interfaced directly with the infiltration systems. Years of Special Forces training and last-minute technological modifications gave him capabilities that blurred the line between human and machine. The Valerian Nexus Prime was a marvel of alien engineering, a spherical structure that seemed to pulse with living energy. Quantum communication threads ran through its structure like neural pathways, each connection more complex than entire human computer networks. Approaching primary insertion point, Jack's voice was calm, almost detached. The pod's sensors mapped impossible geometric patterns, finding microscopic vulnerabilities that would be invisible to standard reconnaissance. Elena watched the mission parameters on her command display. One miscalculation would mean total failure, and potentially the end of humanity's resistance. The quantum disruption device activated. For precisely 4.7 seconds, the entire Valerian communication network experienced total paralysis. Invasion ships went momentarily blind. Strategic coordination collapsed, and in that brief window, Jack uploaded a virus that would continue to propagate through their systems. The Valerians experienced something unprecedented in their collective history: confusion. When their systems recovered, something had fundamentally changed. The perfect, logical invasion strategy now had a critical weakness. Humanity had proven it could punch through what was thought to be an impenetrable defense. Back on the Defiance, Elena allowed herself the briefest moment of hope. "We just rewrote the rules of engagement," Marcus said quietly. The Valerians would soon learn that humanity's greatest strength was its ability to transform weakness into unexpected power. The turning point had arrived, and nothing would ever be the same. The real war was about to begin. The United Earth Mobilization Center looked like a fortress carved into the Himalayan mountains. Once a secret military research facility, it now pulsed with the collective energy of humanity's most desperate fight for survival. Chancellor Miranda Rice stood before a massive holographic display, watching as the global transformation took shape. Every resource, every industry, every human capability was being repurposed for one singular goal: survival. "We're no longer fighting a war," she told Elena Rodriguez during a strategy briefing. "We're fighting for the very concept of human existence." Auto manufacturing plants that once produced luxury vehicles now churned out advanced combat drones. Pharmaceutical companies redirected entire research divisions to develop bioadaptive combat enhancements. Universities became rapid prototyping centers for experimental weapons and communication technologies. Dr. Liang Wei's team had become the heart of humanity's technological resistance. Their breakthrough with the quantum disruption device had sparked a global innovation explosion. Young engineers and scientists who once competed now worked in perfect synchronization, sharing every scrap of knowledge. In the lunar colonies, a breakthrough emerged that would change everything. A team of genetic engineers, working with captured Valerian biological data, developed the first human-alien hybrid neural interface. It allowed soldiers to process information at speeds that approached the aliens' computational thinking. Jack Reyes became the first test subject for the neural enhancement program. During initial trials, he could simultaneously track hundreds of tactical variables, predict enemy movements with unprecedented accuracy, and coordinate multiple combat units with a thought. The resistance had transformed from a scattered group of survivors into a global, unified fighting force. Underground networks that began as survival channels now coordinated massive global operations. A hacker in Buenos Aires could trigger a defensive protocol in a lunar colony. A communication specialist in Mumbai could redirect entire fleet movements with a few keystrokes. The Valerians had believed human diversity was a weakness. They were about to learn it was their greatest strength. Psychological warfare became a critical front. Resistance groups began broadcasting carefully crafted messages that exploited the Valerians' rigid logical systems. Memes, cultural references, and deliberately illogical communications began to create fractures in the alien fleet's perfect coordination. "We're fighting them with creativity," Elena explained to her team. "Something their computational minds can't truly comprehend." Hybrid technologies emerged at an impossible pace. Captured Valerian shield generators were reverse-engineered and integrated into human defense systems. Alien communication protocols were twisted into new forms of encrypted resistance networks. The first fully integrated human-alien hybrid weapon rolled off the production line, a testament to human adaptability. It was beautiful. It was terrifying. In secret facilities around the globe, the next generation of human fighters was being prepared. Not just soldiers, but total war specialists who could fight with technology, strategy, and an unpredictability that would become humanity's ultimate weapon. The Valerians had made a critical mistake. They had awakened a sleeping giant, and humanity was nowhere near done fighting. The star system burned. 47 Valerian command ships hung like obsidian daggers against the backdrop of superheated plasma and disintegrating planetary matter. Commander Elena Rodriguez watched from the bridge of the RSS Defiance, her neural interface crackling with tactical information that would have overwhelmed a human mind just months earlier. "Incoming quantum wave," Lieutenant Marcus Chen called out. "Defensive pattern Alpha 7. The Defiance's hybrid shield, a marvel of human-alien technology, shimmered, bending reality itself to deflect the incoming energy weapon. Where previous human ships would have been vaporized, this vessel absorbed, redirected, and weaponized the attack. Jack Reyes led the first wave of enhanced combat units. His neural augmentations allowed him to coordinate multiple attack vectors simultaneously, turning the rigid Valerian battle formations into chaos. Each movement was a calculated dance of destruction, anticipating alien responses before they could even be conceived. Dr. Liang Wei's final innovation had transformed the battlefield. The quantum disruption protocols they had developed now worked as both shield and weapon. Human ships could literally tear apart Valerian communication networks with each pass, leaving entire sections of their fleet blind and disconnected. "We're not just fighting," Elena murmured, watching the tactical display. "We're rewriting the fundamental rules of engagement." The attack was multi-front and brilliant. While direct combat units engaged the Valerian fleet, specialized hacking teams infiltrated their communication networks. Psychological warfare broadcasts created deliberate confusion, exploiting the aliens' logical but ultimately rigid thought processes. A Valerian command ship suddenly went dark, not destroyed, but completely isolated. Its perfect computational systems overwhelmed by deliberately illogical human communication patterns. It was warfare as performance art, strategy as a form of creative expression. "Targeting primary communication nexus," Marcus announced. His fingers moved with inhuman speed across multiple holographic interfaces. The hybrid weapons developed in those hidden mountain and lunar laboratories now sang their terrible song. Energy weapons that could shift frequency faster than the Valerian targeting systems could compensate. Projectiles that could phase between matter states, rendering traditional defenses useless. Jack's combat unit penetrated the heart of the Valerian defensive line. Enhanced by neural interfaces, augmented by technologies that blended human creativity with alien precision, they moved like liquid mercury, unpredictable, adaptive, unstoppable. For the first time, the Valerians experienced true fear. Not the mathematical calculation of potential destruction, but raw, emotional terror, the realization that their perfect invasion had been transformed into a fight for their own survival. "We are not your prey," Elena's broadcast cut through their communication networks. "We are humanity, and we fight." The counteroffensive was more than a military operation. It was a statement, a declaration that would echo through the galaxy. Humanity had arrived, and they were nothing like what the Valerians had expected. The Valerian Prime Fortress loomed like a quantum nightmare, a massive spherical structure that defied conventional physics. Its surface rippled with impossible geometries, a testament to alien engineering that had dominated the galaxy for millennia. Commander Elena Rodriguez knew this was humanity's final moment. "All units," she broadcast across the unified human fleet, "this is our line in the sand." The assault began with a symphony of destruction. 47 specialized human vessels, each a hybrid of captured alien technology and human innovation, struck from multiple vectors. Their weapons were no longer just tools of war, but living extensions of human creativity and determination. Jack Reyes led the primary infiltration team. His neural augmentations had evolved beyond anything the Valerians could comprehend. Where they saw calculation, he brought pure, unpredictable human intuition. Dr. Liang Wei's final innovation hung in space beside the Defiance. A quantum entanglement device that could simultaneously exist in multiple states. It was both weapon and communication hub, a technological marvel that embodied humanity's fundamental difference from the Valerians. The battle defied traditional combat logic. Human ships didn't just fight. They danced. They anticipated. They transformed. Where Valerian vessels moved in perfect geometric precision, human craft twisted, turned, merged, and separated with organic fluidity. Psychological warfare reached its pinnacle. Broadcast systems carried more than just communications. They carried deliberate, mathematically impossible patterns designed to fracture the Valerian collective consciousness. Each transmission was a weapon more potent than any physical projectile. "We're not just fighting for survival," Elena told Marcus as another wave of attacks launched. "We're fighting for the very concept of individual existence." The Valerian Prime Fortress began to crack, not just physically, but conceptually. Its perfect computational systems started to fragment, unable to process the sheer irrationality of human combat strategy. Jack's infiltration team penetrated the fortress's core. Neural interfaces pushed human consciousness to its absolute limit, allowing him to navigate systems that would have driven a normal mind to instantaneous madness. Target acquired, he transmitted. The words were almost an afterthought. Dr. Liang's quantum device activated. Reality itself seemed to buckle, twist, and reconfigure. The line between weapon and communication became meaningless. The Valerian collective experienced something they had never known: true uncertainty. In that moment of hesitation, humanity struck its final blow. Not with a weapon of pure destruction, but with something far more terrifying to a purely logical species: complete, unpredictable possibility. The fortress didn't just break, it transformed. Elena watched as the seemingly invincible structure of alien technological perfection dissolved, reformed, and ultimately collapsed under the weight of human potential. "We are not what you expected," she transmitted one final time. The galaxy would never be the same. 6 months after the fall of the Valerian Prime Fortress, humanity stood transformed. The United Earth Council chamber was no longer a place of political posturing, but a testament to collective survival. Chancellor Miranda Rice looked out over a gathering of the most diverse group of leaders in human history: scientists, military strategists, former resistance fighters, and representatives from every corner of the globe and its colonies. Commander Elena Rodriguez stood near the back, her neural interfaces still humming with the memories of the war. The woman who had entered the conflict as a military commander had become something more, a symbol of human resilience. Dr. Liang Wei presented the first comprehensive report on the technological aftermath. The hybrid technologies developed during the war had rewritten every fundamental understanding of physics, communication, and biological potential. "We didn't just win a war," Liang explained, her holographic presentation showing mind-bending technological innovations. "We evolved." Jack Reyes, now head of the new Adaptive Response Division, outlined the psychological implications. The neural augmentations developed during the conflict had permanently changed human potential. Humanity was no longer confined to its previous limitations. The Valerian defeat was more than a military victory. It was a fundamental challenge to the universe's understanding of intelligent life. Recovered Valerian archives revealed the true extent of their galactic dominance. Hundreds of civilizations had fallen before humanity. Yet none had fought with the same combination of creativity, resilience, and sheer unpredictability. "We're not just survivors," Chancellor Reyes declared. "We're pioneers." The first wave of exploration vessels prepared to launch. They carried with them technologies that blended human creativity with the best of captured alien systems. No longer were humans confined to a single planet or even a single solar system. Elena found Marcus Chen in the observation deck, watching the first exploration ships prepare for launch. "We're not the same species we were before the war," Marcus said quietly. She understood. The conflict had been more than a battle for survival. It had been a crucible that had fundamentally reshaped human potential. Reports came in from the outer colonies. Entire research stations were dedicated to understanding and adapting the technologies discovered during the war. Every captured Valerian system was being reimagined, reconstructed, improved. The universe had underestimated humanity, and humanity was just getting started. Jack Reyes approached Elena, his neural interfaces subtly shifting, a constant reminder of how far they had come. "We're receiving initial reports from the exploration teams," he said. "There are other civilizations out there. And this time, we're not going as victims. We're going as equals." Somewhere in the vast darkness of space, the first human exploration vessel crossed into unknown territories. Its systems pulsed with a combination of human creativity and adapted alien technology, a perfect metaphor for what humanity had become. Not a species of conquerors, not a species of survivors, a species of infinite possibility.